an eargasm of learning and a no-fuss show. Welcome to the Creative Talk Podcast, where you can learn straightforward topics about branding, digital entrepreneurship, online business, and many more with your charming host, John Santos, along with inspiring entrepreneurs, creators, and thought leaders worldwide.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Creative Talk Podcast with me, John Santos. And today we have another amazing episode. This is from our LinkedIn Live audio session, where we talk about how to grow your referral network, how to establish a healthy, non-toxic community, your tribe that is connected to who you are and what you do as a brand and business. Enjoy. Whoop, whoop.
So today's Courage Corner is all about how to grow your referral network. Now, give me a thumbs up if you've ever watched Downton Abbey or one of the costume dramas from the UK about the class system with the posh family and the servants. Yeah, big thumbs up from Daniel and Jun. Well, I grew up watching those costume dramas, and one thing also growing up was my nan. She was a pastry chef in service. And what did those referral networks have to do with today? Was they were about the social connections. Most prime ministers in the UK have come from one school, Eton. So referral networks I see now is democratizing access to people. And there is still very much a class system in the world today, but we can do things no matter who we are to grow our referral network and get access to those opportunities. And we can help other people with their opportunities by just expanding and being very strategic with who we connect with, but also who we refer and who refers us. But before we get started, I'd like to invite my co-hosts to introduce themselves and tell you what they do. So Jan, please introduce yourself.
Hey, my name is Jan Santos. I'm a podcast host and a podcast agency owner. So if you guys want to bring your bill, audio, graphic design content, let's go. Partner with us and we will be part of your amazing content journey. Love you guys. Whoop, whoop. Back to you, Martin.
Cheers, Jan. And just as an example of a referral, I've just had some design work done. And one person has asked me who did it. And I was able to make that referral to somebody else. And that referral is Jan. Roy, please introduce yourself and tell people what you do.
Thanks so much, Martin. Good day, Jan and Ali. My name is Roy Kowalski. I'm based in Sydney, Australia. I have a branding and marketing business. And what I do is I assist small and medium-sized companies with innovative and creative promotional products aligned with a strategy to achieve an outcome. And that sounds like quite a mouthful, but the reality of it is actually not, because the challenge that so many small and medium-sized companies have is that they have the most incredible services. They have the most incredible services. Sorry, my touch has got a bit crazy. Sorry. They have the most incredible services and products. And what takes place is that they have the best kept secrets. They don't get the ideal their product ideal, as I say, to achieve an outcome. And what that does is it unlocks the door to get in front of your ideal client. My name is Roy and I'm out.
Brilliant. Thanks, Roy. And you're stalwarts. You are the champion of LinkedIn audio rooms. Ali, please introduce yourself and tell people what you do.
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Martin. Good to be with you all. I'm dialing in from Tasmania this afternoon. I work with mission-led teams to create opportunity from challenges, should I say, and allow people to be empowered and take control over that, and do that through making continual part of everyday project. So lots of disconnection in organisation, and my mission and revolves to work with those organisations and not fear challenge and problems, but know how we'll be fully working through long term as well, please.
No, brilliant. Thanks, Ali, and congrats on becoming a LinkedIn top voice earlier this year. So we're going to have a chat for about 15 minutes, and then we're going to invite anybody in the audience who wants to come up and ask us a question. Now, the reason I ask my co-host to tell people what they do, because essentially that is the first point, is creating named recognition with other professionals in your field and people with connections in your target market. The analogy I like to use is the 6 o'clock news, probably about 6:20, where they give the market update. How did the shares do today? Is the market up down 3.2% or is it down? What's been happening? Now, in days gone by, it used to be the economic professor from Sydney University or University of Oxford or Cambridge University would be the expert. But things started to change. It would be the expert from the bank or the big financial institution. And we got to know the economist or chief economist of that bank as the expert. We all know who the expert is because we'd see them 6:20 on the news time after time. Now, what has changed in the last 10 years with B2B social media is who we get to see is the experts. Who are you connected with on LinkedIn? Which podcasts do you listen to? Which blogs do you read? Do you read anything on Substack? Are you subscribed to somebody's newsletters, YouTube channel? You watch television and news far less than we used to, but we have access to more and more information. And I have 2 strategies for you to become a name recognition: is write and be written about, speak and be spoken about, because we all see things in our feed. And we might engage a weekend or an evening, and they may say, did you see this? Or you might want to find something out about something and you refer to somebody because you've seen them in your feed. But when you start writing, it could be a LinkedIn newsletter, it could be a LinkedIn article, it could be a blog post. You start creating name recognition for yourself, and others might start quoting you in their articles. Now, Daniel is doing amazing work on LinkedIn, highlighting authenticity. And he's been quoted in some big articles from work he's been doing. As a keynote speaker, I speak on stage about courage, and I get referrals from people because they've seen my message, they've seen my reel. So, Jan, my first question for you, getting out there and being a guest on a podcast.
Yeah, just be yourself. There's a lot of written scripts, guides that takes out the authenticity when, a brand, a personality gets invited, especially in traditional media. And now on YouTube, if you can pay to be a guest. That's not wrong. But then obviously it's a marketing strategy. But in the perspective of where we operate in the world of podcasting, I always guide our partners to be their authentic self. If you're jolly, be jolly. If you're uptight, then show them who you really are, because that is where you cultivate the power of trust. And trust, that's the currency of the brands, of businesses. You can only survive, you can only win if you have trust. And you can only build trust by being your authentic self. Be natural, be who you are. And with that, your tribe, the people around you will see, hey, that's him. Hey, that's Ali. That's Martin. That's really who Roy is. And that's where the connection starts, and that will foster, and that will get you growing trust. And the next thing you know it, you're on the next level, making connections, making partnerships, going to the next level with your brand and business. Back to you, Martin. Whoop, whoop.
Right. Cheers. Thanks, Jan. Always love. Roy, you were featured in LinkedIn News, and you add storytelling to your message. So what's your advice on storytelling within your content? Because you're also very famous down in Bondi.
Yeah, well, I had a little bit of a surprise because I did get featured in the LinkedIn News, and wow, it's the first time ever. So here's the interesting thing. I got some advice from a guy by the name of Martin Stark. You might not have heard of him. He's a master storyteller, and it's like he's sitting right next to me. That's who he is. So I was talking to him about making an impact with content, and what he said to me was, he said, what you need to do is you need to become more of a storyteller, and you need to start to share stories that have happened, that this type of thing happened, and I wanted to just let you know about it. So this particular post that I did, and I'd be very, I'm happy if anyone wants to, go into my feed and have a look at it, is what I did was they asked about, it's all about people going into work when it's raining, or do they stay at home? And so what I did was I gave a viewpoint, and then I told them what I thought in my post. I said, this is what I think. And then I shared a story of somebody, a friend of mine, that is allowed to stay at home because he's so productive. And I used that I left out all the main things that I normally would talk about, and look what happened. So the moral of the story is, listen to the master storyteller, Martin Stark. My name is Roy.
Cheers. Thanks, Roy. You always have a way of bringing it back to storytelling. What me, I've told a story a few times on our Saturday morning audio rooms. So, Ali, my question for you is, getting that name recognition with other professionals is certainly within a culture or cultures within an organization. What can people do to maybe stand out a little bit more? Because it can be hard in some of those organizational cultures which don't encourage people standing up.
Yeah. And do you mean from internally, like as an employee as well?
Yeah. Because as an employee, because also what you say as an employee can also have that impact outside of the organization when you're client facing.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think there's still a lot of organizations that need to do a lot of work on what their sort of stats is on this as well too. So I think a lot of employees are flying a little bit blind at the moment around how they can engage goodly in potential, how fixable enough that sort of cultural framework. But for me personally, I think it is about, I wrestle with some vulnerability in it, and I've shown a lot of that in my posts. As long as it's appropriate, as long as it helps and adds value, I think that's really, really important. So back to what Jan was saying before about authenticity. But for me, I think find the point of difference, but find things that are also real and that will add value to the client, ultimately at the end of the day. I don't think we want sanitized messages. In fact, I don't think most people do. Once again, it's got to fit within the cultural personality of the organisation, but also what you can bring. And sometimes that's complex, Martin, right? I've been there. I know what it's like to be a little bit of a square peg in a round hole. So I think there's some trial and experimentation with that. I don't think it's a straightforward answer, but I think you need to know yourself and what you can bring and understand what the client will also value as well too. So I think there's a couple of different factors to consider within that as well.
Cultures, they feel supported. Now, my next point is about asking for referrals strategically through clarity in your value and reciprocity. I spent 15 years of my career in technology procurement. The number of times suppliers would want to try and sell something to the bank I worked for, but they hadn't bothered speaking to a stakeholder in the organization, telling me all the things that they could sell, really already had somebody who could buy, and there was an established relationship. But there were times where the bank needed something and I knew exactly who to ask, and they would be either able to provide that for the bank or would know somebody who could. And the crucial thing here is in for a connection comes with articulating your value and the value that you can bring to another person through problem solving. But also you may have helped a person. Can they help you back? In that spirit of reciprocity, this is particularly crucial in business, specifically on LinkedIn. And I'm going to come straight to you, Roy, because you go to networking events. How should people be asking for referrals the right way? And how important is reciprocity?
Well, yeah. So I've belonged to PNI, which is Business Network International, I've been involved in BNI for close to 10 years now, and I've been in the top 20 in the whole of Australia for 34 consecutive months. So I kind of think I have got a little bit of a position of strength to talk from. So yes, I'm going to share two things. The first thing is that the procurement officer from the Sydney Catholic schools, of which there's 75 schools through the whole of Sydney, he phoned me every other day. When I say every other day, I'm talking about maybe once this week and then 3 weeks later. Whenever he needs to find out about the right service that he doesn't have contacts with, he calls me. And he says, I'm the go-to person because I have such a wide network. Now, here's the point, is that the interesting thing, the most important thing about the whole referral partner thing is to build up a network of trusted suppliers and or referral partners. That's the key. So the reciprocity is much of how can I supply my services to you and you supply your services back to me from a referral point of view. But here's the important thing in that aspect, is that there should never be a position where I give you something, I expect immediately to get something back. Because when you start with you putting something on the table, I'm going to put something on the table. It's a disaster. There's got to be a trust in place, and that's why I say that you've got to build the relationship in such a way that it's going to come back, which we call paying it forward. So let me help you with whatever I can, without any expectation of getting something back. It'll come back in other ways. So that's how I've managed to build up a great referral base. Is I'm at the forefront looking to give rather than what can I get. My name is Roy and I'm out.
Well said, Roy. And that's just the spirit of relationships, helping each other out. Isn't it so the crucial point? Now, we're just going to go through the final point, and then we're going to invite Daniel and Wood to share their perspectives and ask a question. So the final point, and this is about scaling your business, is how can you expand and diversify your referral network to access new markets and opportunities. There are two simple ways of doing this. The first is just looking geographically. If you're currently serving the Sydney market, can you expand to people in Canberra or Melbourne? Or you might be in Los Angeles. Can you expand to another location, maybe San Francisco, maybe all the way to New York, maybe all the way to Sydney? What can you do where you currently, how can you expand? And LinkedIn's got a simple way of doing that. It has all of the locations available to you. But the second point is looking at what is a comparatively acquisition marketing. It might be easy to then to expand into digital marketing. What other conversations are taking place? So real estate agents might be dealing with conveyancers or lawyers on a daily basis, and you could be a mortgage broker. So you could maybe expand your business into lawyers who are speaking to clients might need a mortgage broker, and you as a mortgage broker may have clients who need a lawyer for the conveyancing. And it's just that, again, it expands into that period and spirit of reciprocity. Jan, what's your take on this and expanding your network and market?
Yeah, it's like I always say this, intent comes before content. What's your intention behind anything else, before everything? And that is really building a non-toxic, healthy community, the tribe. Like what Roy mentioned a while ago, it's giving something without expecting anything in return. And the perfect example is this, our tribe. When you, Martin, need something done in terms of video, podcasts, and graphics, automatically our team is here to support and give you what we are created to be, the best thing that we can produce, that output based on who we are and what we do. And on the other hand, without asking, I remember this one time you came to me, hey Jan, I know this is what you do and this is who you are as a brand, but let's fix your LinkedIn profile. And by the way, for everyone listening here, that's the polite way of saying, Jan, your LinkedIn is a mess. Let's work it out. And without anything, there's no pitch. He's not selling anything, and that's also something that we do. I come up to him and say, hey Martin, let's bring your YouTube to the next level, get it monetized so that you can raise funds and support your cause, things like that. And you don't know it, you will not notice it, but you are growing a healthy, non-toxic partnership, a tribe, and a friend. And that for me is the heart of everything. Back to you, Martin. Whoop whoop.
Cheers, Jan. It wouldn't be the same without the whoop whoop, would it, Ali? Ali, same question for you. Advice for people to really diversifying their network and accessing new markets.
Yeah, look, I think I'll just come back to what Jan said around motive intent. That's really the foundation of trust. So know what that looks like before you start, because that will guide you on all the decisions that you make around that. I think when you're diversifying, be smart about it. Don't try and get overly ambitious. Focus on maybe on one key area. And also, too, if you can have any culture in your business, we're made up of multiple cultures. Be generous. Generosity is something that I've always based how I turn up in life and how I turn up in business, and that's shown in how I even show up on the platform, and that's been noticed. So understand motive intent, understand the cultures that will get you there, and start with generosity always. When you're thinking about how you would diversify, maybe hit one key area, don't get overly ambitious, and then build yourself in the process. But I'd say.
I agree with that. Certainly not deviating too far from your message so you then confuse customers. We very rarely buy something when we're confused. Maybe when we're drunk, we might buy something, but very rarely do you buy something when you're confused. So we have about 10 minutes left. So I'm going to ask Dawood to just unmic, please introduce yourself and briefly share an insight to ask a question.
Hello, Martin, and all the people on the stage. So my question is from especially for the John and the Roy. Basically, I am providing branding and UI design services on LinkedIn and Upwork. So my question is how I can get referrals for my services. Like, should I focus on posting content or should I focus on outreaching?
My advice is focus on posting content which delivers value, educational content, helping people. Also,
but but I saw that most of the people providing the educational content, so that's not a chunk of content.
Right, but still, to become the trusted authority, you need to deliver value. Doing things like this, building the relationships, doing quality work, that is what will get you those referral partners, because I want to refer people who I know who can deliver, who I know I can trust. Roy, Jan, Ali, do you have any other comments to add?
Yeah, I think the crucial thing is to share stories of how you solve pain points for other people. I mean, if these are things that you do, which you do, obviously, I mean, I'm no different to you. I sell promotional products, but I don't put up anything and say, here's what I've got to sell. If you like it, contact me. I show how I solve the challenges that my customers have through what I do. And I think that.
Yeah, thanks for Courage Corner. Would love you to share your insight or ask a question.
Happy Wednesday, everybody. So this is going to be kind of an answer to what Dawood had asked, and I kind of really test the waters and break the rules. I love to break the rules, just to see what happens. I know you've Martin have seen my rule breaking, and today I actually broke another rule. It's not really breaking a rule. It's finding a new way to communicate through stories. So if any of you get a chance, go check out the post I did today. It was an actual, hey, Richard Branson, I'm Dan Hall. I'm made by dyslexia. Oh, and by the way, I produced a song for you and put it together that tells a story of how Virgin Atlantic came about. And I'm going to offer the same thing to Ali, Roy, Jan, and you, Martin. I'll put together and produce a song. It could be anything, any lyrics, but I'll put it together for you. And you'll have the full rights to the song absolutely free, because the theme that's going around here is kindness should never have a return value. And in giving that to you guys, I expect nothing in return. No post, no nothing. A simple thank you is all I need. And whoop, whoop, and I'm Dan and I'm out. Sorry, Jan, didn't mean to take that away from you.
Thanks, Dan. And a big thanks for all the work you've been doing. It is tough out there to see who's actually genuine and who is not authentic. There are some people who are using pods, they're using automated comments, seeing all of these reposts and shares and likes. All that glitters is not gold. That's all I'm going to say. Thanks for the work you are doing, Jan. Anjan Banerjee, welcome to the Courage Corner. I hope I pronounced that name correctly.
Yeah, greetings everybody. And I have a mystery which has not been answered by any fora on LinkedIn. I hope to get an answer here. Mr. Martin, Mr. Roy, you touched on this very briefly. Every time I find value in an individual, I ask for a connection request. Wonders of wonders, within seconds, there is a message, please subscribe to my newsletter. Weird. And 90%, if I do not, because I find that it is threatening, they don't come back. Now, I want to understand, I'm a doctor. I'm a postgraduate doctor, yet I do not understand what is the mindset of individuals who think they are high and mighty. Of course they are, by virtue of who they are, but how would you know what Mr. Martin or Mr. Roy has achieved in life? So I would like an answer, please. I am perplexed. Thank you very much.
So my advice would be to be intentional with who you are connecting with. LinkedIn is a B2B platform. There are a lot of people who want to sell to you straight away. There are a lot of people who want more followers, who want more likes, want more subscribers. And as Roy, Ali, Jenna, I said, deliver value first and foremost. And when you're intentional with who you connect with, you establish those relationships, the know, like, and trust. And that way you're going to get value from their content, and they may be able to help you. You may be able to help them. Jan, Roy, Ali, do you have anything else to add?
Hey, Martin, I just want to add something, but not from the topic and the question of Anjan, but the one that Dawood Iqbal, sorry if I butchered your name. My advice on that, just to add on what Roy said, you are working in the creative industry, so you need to build a solid portfolio. Tap on platforms that are excellent for this output. What are the visual platforms? What are the video platforms? All right. And then looking on your LinkedIn, step aside from telling and instead move in sharing. All right. As I'm reading like most of your posts, most of the content that you put out, you're just informing them of what they can get if they partner with you. Instead, turn the table around. You should be sharing and showing the why the magic is important in the things that you do. Bring them in your experience as a creative designer. That's all. Back to you, Martin. Whoop whoop. Love you all.
Thanks, Jan. Hey, Roy, Ali, do you have anything else to add to Anjan Banerjee's question?
Look, I just think you have to be discerning, and sometimes you won't know between both. The clearer you can be, the better the chance of not ending up to be the well-suited people. But you've always just going to put yourself out. I think there's a bit of a test with that. But, what I would say in terms of just coming back to what Dan was saying around building a credible brand and coming between the faithfully, everything's based on evidence. So use real world examples. Don't talk lightweight, go deep. And I would say always, you never if you've only got one idea up your sleeve, you're in trouble anyway. We're not one-trick ponies. So share the knowledge, spread it around like the loving fairy dust that it is. That's what I need to do.
Brilliant. Thanks, Ali. Well, we've reached 12:31 Sydney time, so we're going to go over by a couple of minutes. So I'm just going to, first of all, thank everybody in the audience for joining us. We really appreciate you showing up. Give yourselves a huge round of applause. And I'm going to thank my co-host too. I'm going to give them a huge round of applause with my clapometer here. But I'm just going to invite my co-host just to give one final insight and to tell people how they can help you. So, Roy, go ahead with one insight and how can you help people?
I will just make it pretty simple, and that is that if you know of a company, or you know of a company that's got the best kept secret, in other words, they've got the most incredible product, they have the most amazing service, and they cannot get it in front of their ideal clients, that's where I can help them. I can unlock the door and get them in front of their ideal clients through targeted promotional products aligned with the strategy. My name is Roy, and I'm out.
Brilliant. Thanks, Roy. And Jan, final insight and how you can help people.
Yes, first of all, for everyone that is joining us in today's topic, please do connect with our speakers because they are putting their heart, their time, their passion, and giving you value, sharing stories, and like keeping this session going week per week per week. Starting with Martin, Ali, and Roy. Please do connect with them and be a part in your journey towards success. Again, my name is Jan Santos. Please visit my profile. You can see the content that we share. There's a link to connect with me, and let's start the journey together. Whoop whoop. Back to you, Martin.
Thanks, Jan. I always love that whoop whoop. What a beautiful way of ending every message. Ali, same for you. Final insight in how you can help people.
Yeah, look, I think I would just say if you want to get some real unique original content that's been put out in the real world and tried and tested over the years and had some fire put under it, then please come and engage and get across my content and bring your intel. And I am up to changing the way in which we do work and the way in which we connect people in work. So if you are wanting to look at challenges as something not to fear, but to be useful, then please, you would probably like what's between my ears, and I'd love to keep with you. So go forth, be intentional. You're not for everyone. Not everyone's for you. Enjoy life. Live fit.
Brilliant. Thanks, Ali. Now, my final tip is to get relationships offline. Now, last week when I opened the Courage Corner, LinkedIn isn't the most stable platform, and it booted me out of my own room and it booted Roy out of the room. And I think we had a bit of wobbly behavior before with Roy kind of booted out and coming back in. So please, referrals on LinkedIn are great for referral messages, but please get the relationships offline, meet people, get to know people, have proper, meaningful conversations. That's probably the most impactful thing you can do. And if you're in Columbus or Chicago in June, check out my profile. I'm running a LinkedIn workshop with my business partner, Jeremy Grandstaff. I'm going to help teach you how to have a proper profile, compelling message, and new quality content. So come and meet us in Chicago and Columbus in June. So again, as we close, a big thank you to everybody, a big thank you to my co-hosts, and a big thank you and round of applause to everybody in the audience. You have a fantastic rest of the morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you are, and join us next week on the Courage Corner. Thanks, everybody. Take care.
Thank you for being with us here on the Creative Talk Podcast. I'm your host, John Santos. Don't forget to listen and subscribe on your favorite podcast platform. See you again, always.